How to actually rank up as a solo queue player. So on the left, this is a screenshot I took of my season 11 stats. This is when I first moved to PC about August 2024, something like that. And as you could see, I was Plat 2 and Diamond 4 at the end of season 11. Wasn't even ranked on tank with these amount of games played. And then this is season, whatever season it is currently, as of 3rd of August 2025. So I think that's 17. I literally don't know. But as you can see, D3. But I don't play tank too much. M4, M5, and then this is roughly like M1. If I can remember, I peaked top 41 in open queue, peaked top 226, which this was about GM5. This was like GM3. Obviously, I've deranked quite a lot, and I might explain that later on. But let's get into the guide. So first off, respect to you, you chose to click on the long, unedited guide instead of a tier list or streamer reaction slop content or any other fucking bullshit like that. So respect to you. Clearly, you're interested in actually improving since you watch videos like this. Why listen to me? Well, like I said, when I first moved to PC from PS5, I started on my main role in Plat 2. And when I was on console, I was high masters, low GM. So it was a really big ego hit to hop on PC and then see that my main role is now gone from low GM to Plat 2. So I had to slowly climb my way up. All solo queue. This is a solo queue guide. I from August 2024 to the 3rd of August today, 2025, I have never queued with a single person in ranked on my main account. But the problem is, I was struggling, and I didn't really know why for a while. But the reason why I was struggling is because I didn't actually have a good grasp on how to actually improve. I ranked up high. I ranked up quite high on console because I had pretty good aim, and I'll say I did queue with my friend basically every day because we liked playing together. But I plateaued because, well, everyone had a good aim, and if you play console high ranks, everyone's just zimming out the fucking wazoo. But they also had better game sets than me. They had something that I didn't. So my journey so far, this is just each screenshot of season 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and then today 17. So you can see I've kind of slowly climbed up as I've implemented these fundamentals, and especially in open queue, when 6v6 came out by season 15, I've managed to be around top 100, top 200 pretty consistently for 3 seasons. Excuse me. So I'm gonna make you a promise. I'm gonna teach you how to rank up without the overcomplications that most of you have probably seen, and I'll teach you how to do it faster than I did, because for me, from season 11 to season 17, that's about a year. Yeah, because 6 seasons, each season's 2 months, so yeah, about a year. I'll teach you how to rank up way faster than that. Quick introduction. My name's Kai. I help Overwatch players to improve and rank up. Subscribe right now. So, in this video, I've got 4 main kind of parts to ranking up. We've got the basics, the mindsets, the fundamentals, practice and feedback, and also, if you stick around, I've got some bonus tips for anyone who keeps watching this all the way through. And make sure to watch this in order, because I've specifically done everything in order. Like mainly these 4. I've done all of these in order so that you watch the first part, then you move on to the second, then the third, and the fourth, and it will all make sense. Alright, first part, the basics. So first off, Overwatch isn't actually that complicated of a game. And then next, we have pick a small group of heroes to play. And then next, we have enjoyment. So, like I said, Overwatch isn't that complicated. It's easy to get into Overwatch and then look up content, as you do on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. And then you just get overwhelmed because there's slop. And there's videos that are just like so complicated, and it's so frustrating as a person, because like you're just trying to get better, but like you get information overload, and then like you just don't even want to play. You're getting like anxiety, and it just sucks, and it makes you not want to play. Yes, the game is complex and it's got a lot of moving parts. If you've watched any sort of pro play, any high level streamer player, like watching it from a third person point of view, it looks very chaotic and it looks like there's a lot of things happening, which is true. But it's actually easier than you think to make the game so fucking simple to understand and play. And funnily enough, when you make it simple and when you just like lay out the game like at its base level, it's actually more fun because you got less things to think about and you can just play the game. So yeah, these are some screenshots of a bunch of ults happening. I'm sure you've seen this in your games or maybe some like viral clips on TikTok and stuff where fucking everyone just presses Q. Like in this picture we have Simwall, two life weaver trees, a coalescence, Ash is here as a ram. If you don't play the game a lot, like all of this is just mind numbing to you. Right? And then this picture, the same thing. All of this is just mind numbing. But what it is, it's just everyone is just pressing Q. This is rare. This isn't going to happen a lot. Most fights are going to have anywhere between like 1 to maybe 4 ults in a fight. And that's even pushing it. So next we have pick a small hero pool. Before hero bans, I would have recommended to one trick, and I still do recommend play as least heroes as possible. But obviously with bans, it's really hard to one trick because your hero could just get banned, and then what do you do? So play 1 to 4 heroes in one row. Why not more heroes and more roles? Because you can improve fundamentally faster when you're focused on the small group of heroes. Because instead of trying to juggle learning a hero and improving your fundamentals, it's like a mindfuck. So if you just pick a few heroes that you get comfortable on and you like, you can stop worrying about actually learning the heroes because you kind of already know them. And then you can just focus on the fundamentals, which is what is actually going to make you a better player. Excuse me, my chest is quite tight. Don't know how to breathe sometimes, but I want to get this out for you. So, have you ever wondered why the good players are able to perform at the top ranks, even on new heroes? It's because all these players are good fundamentally. Like, at their base, you can make them play any hero, they'll still dominate 99% of lobbies. Because all they've got to do is apply the fundamentals that they've already learned to the new heroes. Learn the new heroes kit for like 5 minutes, and then boom. That's another hero in their arsenal that they can play at a pretty high level. Awkward, if you don't know who Awkward is, he's another educational Overwatch creator. And he's done unranked 2 GMs on heroes released on the same day. So Alari and Venture. How? Because he's already good at the game fundamentally, and he could just apply these fundamentals to these heroes, learn their kits for like 5-10 minutes, and then boom, he can make an unranked to GM in like 6 to 8 hours. Easy. And an action step for you is the new hero Aqua is going to get a playtest, and he's going to get released in Season 18. Keep an eye out for the players that are really good at the game. See how quickly they adapt to playing the new hero. Not because they're just good at the game and they can just do anything, but because they've already got good fundamentals that they practiced on the small group of heroes that they already played. And then when they felt like they were good, they branched out to the other heroes, and that's how they have a wide level of skill on all the heroes. Enjoyment. I'm gonna keep it real. If you don't like this game, trying to rank up is gonna be fucking shit. I've seen a lot of people who really like the game, who really don't like the game, and it's very obvious who is going to rank up and who's going to quit the game. So ask yourself this question. This is probably the most important question you can ask yourself from this whole video. Do I enjoy this game enough to dedicate to improving it? I'm not going to tell you yes or no. Consider this answer before you even start like climbing and actually going on with that journey. Because it's very important you know the answer to this question. Because if it's no, then it's no. And if it's yes, keep going. So that's the basics. Now we're going to go on to mindset. So I'm going to rapid fire some mindsets at you. So if you want, you can kind of rewind and go through all of these. Because I'm literally going to rapid fire and I'm just going to like go through like all of them that have helped me improve and that I believe will help you improve. So first, any player that is hard stuck is making a recurring mistake or multiple that they haven't fixed yet. So on console, I used to be hard stuck for a very, very, very long time. I was stuck in like Diamond 3, Diamond 4 for like 5 seasons. And I was like, bro, how the fuck do I get out of Diamond? And this was on DPS. I was a pure Soldier 1 trick. And I didn't realize it until I like went through my gameplay, but I was making just one mistake. And it was literally holding me back from being super high ranked. Because once I fixed that mistake, I went up Master, M4, M3, M2, GM5, GM4. Like, I started ranking up super quickly. And on a similar note, Elo Hell is not real. If you don't know what Elo Hell is, it's like this made up term where players think that like they're forced to be in a certain rank. It's not. You suck. You're not trying to improve. The matchmaker has, you know, put you in this rank because you win and lose games at the same rate and you suck. Elo Hell's not real. If you think it is, please watch the rest of the video and I will show you specifically how to improve and rank up. When you're focused on trying to improve at the game, the outcome of a given match does not fucking matter. If you lose a match, unlucky. If you win a match, cool. You know, cool. We like winning. But if you lose a match, doesn't matter. You just keep going with your grind with whatever you're trying to improve on, which I'll show later in the video. Leave VC and text chats. I'm not gonna say this is like a complete rule that you must follow to rank up. But for me personally, I'm not in VC. I'm not in text chat. And like you could go, oh God, but that's so boring. When you yeah, but like how are you gonna come? I don't, and I still win games. And 90% of the time, VC and text chat are not used to calm. They used to be toxic, to be rude to people, and it just puts you in a negative like mental space. So it's just not worth the risk. And the reason why I have them off is because I have personally discovered, this is something you've got to figure out. I've personally discovered that there's more negatives than positives to being in VC. So be like very scientific with this one. Experiment how worth it is for you, and then decide, oh okay, I'm gonna stay, I'm gonna leave. You are the carry. But this also means that you have to take full self-accountability for everything that happens to you. Good or bad, win or lose. So now that we've instilled this mindset that you are the carry, you are the person on the team that is going to bring you to victory, you have to also accept that you are going to be the one who is most responsible for the loss. Because if you didn't play good enough to carry the game, then that means you've done something wrong and you've lost. But that's okay, because now we have something we can learn from. But just again, you are the carry. No one else on your team or the enemy team matters. Reaching a higher rank comes from being a better player overall, not the other way around. Because think about it. You improve. Let's say you're a plat 3 player and you just are plat 3. You're a plat 3 player, plat 3 skill level, blah blah blah. You start to improve and become better than the players that you're grouped with. So then you move up to plat 2. So you rank up. But then the games are going to get harder because the people in this new rank are now better. So you have to improve even more to get out of plat 2 into plat 1. And then that way you rank up more. And it's just this is the cycle. You're in a rank, improve, rank up to the new rank. The games get harder because the players get better. Improve even more, rank up more. That's it. Excuse me. Improvement is not always going to be linear. Often you'll actually de-rank whilst implementing like a new thing, a new fundamental that you're trying to practice. Do your best to not tilt. Always focus on yourself, and if you do tilt, stop playing for a bit. Because I promise you, I have so many stories of where I knew I was tilting. I knew I wasn't playing my best, but I still chose to keep playing. And then, bro, guess what happens when you play while you're tilted? You're gonna make worse decisions. You're gonna lose more games, and then you're gonna get more tilted because you're losing because you're playing bad. And then because you can't even stop yourself, you're just gonna play more, lose more. You're gonna get more tilted, and it's such a vicious cycle. So really, just do your best. Only focus on yourself, because when you focus on yourself, you're way less likely to get tilted because guess what? You can control your hands on your keyboard and mouse and your controllers, right? But you can't control other people's keyboards. So like you feel helpless and that there's nothing you can do. But with you can actually fix it. You can choose to go, oh, okay, I need to do something different. I need to make different choices. So yeah, and if you do so, just stop playing for a bit. You know, half an hour, you'll feel way better. Go outside, do stuff, work out, you'll feel way better. I promise. So next, stats do matter. This is a bit of a controversial opinion where like people kind of like argue like whether or not stats matter or not. Stats do matter. Of course, there's times where like a scoreboard isn't going to necessarily like depict exactly how someone played, and that they can have a bunch of damage, but oh wait, but they just shot the tank, right? So obviously you need context. But the stats that really do matter are these stats: deaths, damage, elims, and healing if you're a support player. But even then, that doesn't really matter. These stats per 10 over a certain amount of time are what really matters, because these these are what are going to help you understand where you need to improve. If you have high deaths per 10 and high damage, that means you're probably playing too far forward, because yeah, you're doing damage, which is great, but you're also dying too much. Let's say you've got like 9 deaths per 10 and then like 11k damage. Cool, we're doing damage, but we're dying too much, so it's actually a net negative. Same thing with elims. If we have high damage, low elims, we're probably shooting the tank, and then we need to swap our target priority onto people who are more killable. That way we get similar amounts of damage, but more elims. And then healing is literally just like a good number is going to be, for Ana per 10 minutes, it's going to be like 7k, 7.5k, 8k. But like the number itself doesn't really matter, like in a game. Over time, you like you want to have that good average, but in a game itself, healing doesn't really matter too much. Just keep people alive when they need healing, and that's it. And this is what I'm gonna call Kai's golden rule. This is what I follow whenever I play Overwatch, unless I'm streaming. If I'm playing off stream, I always follow this rule. I'll play a maximum of 10 games in a session, which is about, I don't know how long that roughly takes. Maybe like 2 hours, like hour and a half. I don't really know. And if I lose 2 games in a row, I stop playing. For both of these, I'll take a break for 30 to 60 minutes, and then if I want to play more, then I'll allow myself to. And if not, then that's it for the whole day. The reason why I've got this is because your focus will start to dip around the 2, maybe the 3 hour mark, depending on how good your like health is. Your focus will dip, and it will just get less fun to play, because like you're not playing like at your best. It will get frustrating. It'll be annoying. So you don't want to play for too long. Plus, you'll kind of feel like a bum, because oh yes, I just played for 4 hours straight. No, that's not gonna make you feel good. So you don't want to play for too long. But this is to prevent tilting. If you lose 2 games in a row, psychologically, like even if you yourself, like as an intellectual, aren't really that mad, like oh yeah, maybe like, you had fun in those games and you played really good. Deep down, you're gonna be a little bit mad, and then in the next game you queue up, that's gonna affect your gameplay, and then that's where you can kind of fall down the slope. So you want to stop that before it even happens. You lose 2 games in a row, get the fuck off the game. Close the game immediately as soon as you see defeat for the second time in a row. Next mindset, play who you want. Very simple. You just play what heroes you want to play. Obviously, I would rather you do this in the context of what I said earlier in the basic section, where like you play 1 to 4 heroes, but they're the heroes you really want to play just whenever. But then you can swap to like whatever heroes you want. That's okay. I don't mind that. Play who you want. Don't let anyone else tell you who to play. Don't play what you think is going to be good for the given moment. And leading onto the next tip, don't counter swap. It's cringe. You don't get better. And in fact, playing into your hard matchups is actually where most of your improvement is going to come from. So let's say we're playing Widow, and we're playing against Tracer Sombra. You know, the easy solution would just be go cast and just win. But one, that's boring. Two, you're missing out on so much improvement. Or another example could be, you know, Zen into like Bull, Genji, Reaper. On paper, it's a hard matchup, but you can actually win that. It's pretty winnable. And it's going to be hard, and you're probably going to die a lot and make a lot of mistakes, but that's okay because mistakes are improvement. So don't counter swap unless you have a gun to your head and you need to win this game and you must counter swap to get all of the advantage like you can get. Then sure, that's I don't think that's ever going to happen to anyone, but an extreme scenario that could happen. You never know. But yeah, no counter swapping. Next, I like this one because it's kind of unique. You would rather be too aggressive and make mistakes to learn from than to be playing too passive and not make barely any mistakes and have nothing to learn from. Because when you're playing aggressive, you're doing a lot of damage. You're getting a lot of kills. Maybe you might die a bit too much. Let's say you're on Zarya and you're really trying to push how aggressive you can be. And sometimes you overextend a little bit. But that's okay, because now you can learn from that and go, oh, I need to use cover bar. Oh, I should have backed up faster. Oh, okay, when I use my bubble there, I should have left 1 second earlier. But playing too passive, it's like, one, it's boring, and it's actually it's detrimental. Like, let's say Zarya again. If you play too passive, you're not going to be a threat to the enemies, so you're not going to get a lot of charge. Sure, you're not really going to die, but you're also not really doing anything, so you have nothing to learn from. So you would always rather be too aggressive and make mistakes than be too passive and make no mistakes. AKA, you would rather have more damage in elims but more deaths instead of less damage in elims but less deaths, because there's more to learn from this than there is from this. Of course, like, there is your own lessons to learn from this, but like I'll explain just in a little bit, it's easier to know what you should have done better in this situation than it is in this situation. And finally, you can't control your teammates' keyboards, so why give the mental energy into thinking about their gameplay? Think of the infinite monkey theorem. If you've never heard of this, I'll explain it in kind of like a basic manner. So the infinite monkey theorem is like the study or like the idea that if you had a monkey and you sat him down on a typewriter, he would eventually, it could take thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions, billions of years, but he would eventually, in theory, be able to write out like every Shakespeare poem, every piece of fiction that's ever been made. Eventually. Now, why am I explaining this to you? Because your teammates are the monkeys on the typewriters. You have to assume that they're probably never going to do the right plays ever. Sometimes, once every 658 games, maybe one of your teammates will press the right key at the right time and they'll make a good play. But you can't rely on that. It's too low chances. So, don't worry about your teammates because they are monkeys typing on the typewriter. They are monkeys. So just don't worry about them. Don't even consider them as human. It sounds a bit crazy, but don't even consider your teammates as human beings. They're like AI monkey, things that are just pressing keys on a keyboard. That's it. So now that we've gone through the mindset, we're gonna go through the fundamentals. Sorry, excuse me. So fundamentals. These are the 7 main fundamentals that I use to rank up, and every player uses, whether or not they label them as obviously as this. So we have uptime, off angles, rotations, cover, distance, cooldowns, and target priority. Now there are more fundamentals that I will go over in future videos, but these are the main 7 that you can count on every single game, every single map, every single hero, no matter what. These will all be important on every single situation you play in. For each fundamental, I'm going to go over what actually is it, why is it important, how do you apply it in game, and how do you improve this fundamental? Because that's what we want. We want to take this fundamental, we want to use it in game, and then we want to improve on it because that's how we're going to rank up. So first, uptime. What is uptime? Uptime is just like doing damage. Like in the simplest way I can say it, it is just doing as much damage as possible, putting as much pressure on the enemy team as possible. And uptime is a bit unique because you don't really need to like go over it or like VOD review it, because if you feel like you're doing a lot, if you've got high stats, you know, high damage, high elims, high deaths, it's like you don't really need to like practice uptime because you already feel like you're doing a lot. So don't worry about like trying to like manually improve it. Just focus on doing a lot, and then that's it. There is nuance with uptime. Basically, at all times, you want to be doing damage. You want to do damage before the fight, in the fight, after the fight. The only nuance of this is if literally you are like in their spawn and you can see their spawn doors and they're just shooting you from spawn. That's a very like high risk, low reward situation. So uptime is everywhere except for except for that scenario. Now uptime is the most important fundamental, because everything, all of your gameplay stems from having high uptime. Like everything you do in Overwatch is going to stem from uptime. Okay, that's great, but how do we actually apply it in game? Just go in game, do as much damage as possible. You'll die more. That's completely fine. Don't worry about it. We'll fix these deaths at a later date. Because like I said, in this, it's better to do more, have more to learn from. Or let me rephrase that. It's easier to know when to chill out, when to do less, than it is to learn how to do more. This is something you should remember. It's 10 times easier to know when to chill out than it is to learn how to do more. Please like internalize that. So moving on to the next fundamental. And like I know this was really brief, but it really is simple. Like I said, I want Overwatch to be simple and easy to understand for players. Not that it's going to be easy, but simple. So next, what are off angles? You know, you've probably heard of them a few times. Like maybe you get it, maybe you don't. It's kind of like this weird like thing that doesn't really mean anything to you. Let me show you. So in this example, I am playing Brig. This is the enemy Hog, and then this is my Hanzo. So an off angle is just creating a separate point of pressure from my team. Now this could be like a slight off angle, kind of like a wide off angle, or even a flank. Because a flank is an off angle if you think about it. Using my definition of off angles, where it's a separate angle from the rest of your team, a flank is an off angle. Now, if I was stood with my Hanzo on this balcony, we wouldn't be on an off angle because the Hog would be able to look at the Hanzo and also see me. But because I'm over here, the Hog has to choose, does he want to look left or does he want to look right? Because if he looks left, then he's looking at the Hanzo and then I can whip shot him. But if he looks at me, then my Hanzo can shoot him for free. That's like generally how you want to take off angles. You can do them on any character, no matter what. And they're like really important in trying to win the game. So when playing, try to think of any time where like you can move in the fight to create an angle. Now this literally could be on any map, anywhere. Let's say for example, Midtown first point. You're on defense and you're playing Ana. And you know the big fire truck that kind of comes after the bridge? Imagine all of your teammates are sitting on the left side of the fire truck. So what do you want to do? Well, you don't want to sit with your team because then there's no off angle. There's no way to create pressure. So you want to move to the right side of the fire truck, use your cooldowns, do damage. Right? And then that's an off angle because now they have to look at two angles. They have to look at you and they have to look at your team. And it just splits attention and it creates a lot of pressure. So how do we actually kind of improve on this? So we're going to go into any VOD, no matter what. We're going to look for moments in the fight where maybe you missed out on moving to an angle, or maybe where like you just watch yourself and you feel like you're sat with your team too much. And then after that, you can pause, and then you can literally theory craft. Oh, okay, so I was sat with my team a bit too much here. But from this position, maybe I could have moved to this angle on the left, or maybe I could have gone on the right. And then like you kind of move your camera to the right or the left and see like what you could have seen. And then you can kind of like think, oh, okay, well this would have created this distraction and this and this. It sounds complicated, but it's really simple. Go into a VOD, find a moment where you're stacked with your team too much, and then just find one angle where you think you could have gone to, and it would have created pressure. And then literally just try to move more in game. Try and take these angles more. Try and move left or right a bit more. Just avoid being in the bulk of your team. Next, we have rotations. What are rotations? Well, I'll show you. So in this clip, I kill Genji, and then the Ram comes over here. What I should have done is after killing the Genji, I should have realized, because you can see the blue shit and I can also hear him. What I should have done is I should have rotated away from the Ram, maybe out this door and then to the door on the right over here, because then I would have been safe. But instead of moving away, I walked right into him because I didn't realize he was there, so I die. So that's one way of how rotations work. You move away from the danger. The next rotation is this. Let me replay that. So we're basically winning the fight and they're trying to move back. They're vulnerable, they're low, they're like all EMP'd. So what do? I move to the damage because we have an advantage and I can move forward. So there's two ways of rotation. You have moving away from danger and moving to the damage. That's the two rotations that you can do. So first off, there's a big mistake that most players make, and it's just not moving enough. Because rotating, one, like I said before, helps you avoid dying as often, and it helps you get more damage and more elims. Because you'll be rotating away from the danger, like I failed to do in this clip. And then you'll also be able to move to the damage and capitalize on the fact that people are killable, they have no cooldowns, and you can clean up the fight, right? So to improve on this in-game, you want to look for times where you died and see if you could have rotated earlier. So let's say a Genji kills you because he dashed onto you. Well, you could watch the replay and go, oh, well, that Genji was actually moving quite close to me and I didn't actually realize, which meant I didn't move away from him and then he killed me. Or you could look for times where you should have kind of moved forward earlier for more damage and you missed out on a bunch of damage. How do we apply this in game? Well, we want to, in simple terms, move forward when they go back, like I did in this clip. So I'm moving forward because they're moving backwards. And then in this clip, they moved forward into me. I should have moved back because that keeps me away from the danger. So next, cover. What is cover? Pretty simple. Cover is just something, is a piece on the map that stops you from taking damage. There is very limited things in Overwatch that can kill you through walls. I'm pretty sure the only two things that can kill you through a wall is Hanzo's ultimate and Hazard's ultimate. I'm pretty sure those are the only two things that can kill you through walls. Everything else cannot shoot through walls. So in this clip, the Hog is using his ultimate and he could have pushed me off the map. So what do? I'm going to use this stand as cover. He can't shoot me through there, so I'm safe. I wait for the whole Hog to run out behind the cover and then I peek out and I do more damage. Let me replay it for you again, just in case you didn't see. So the Hog's whole hogging, and then I move behind this cover because I would have got booted off the map otherwise. That's cover usage. Like I said, cover stops you from dying, but it's also really good because it will never disappear and it will never go on cooldown. Because think about Ryan's shield, you know, eventually the Ryan has to put it down to swing, so that's not permanent cover that you can rely on. And, you know, some shields go on cooldown. You can't always have them up all the time, but cover is always going to be there for you. So, to apply this in-game, you want to focus on being near a piece of cover when you actually need it. And then this is where the caveat comes in. You don't need to always be hugging the wall scared if a Genji's shooting you from 50 meters away and he's never going to actually kill you. Right? So let's say on Arkenwald, we're playing attack second point and we've just gotten to the bridge. You can stand in the middle of that bridge and you don't need to use cover if no one is actually able to kill you. But as soon as you're killable, you must have somewhere where you can be near cover when you're actually in danger of dying. To improve cover, it's pretty simple. You're going to go through a game, see the times where you died. You can use the bookmark feature for this. You press K, or you can go on the little like menu that comes up on the bottom, click bookmarks, select the event that you want, which is deaths, and then click your name, and it will come up with every tally of when you died. So then you just click those and you see, oh, could I have used cover better here? Could I have been closer to cover because I needed it right then? And then you just practice that in game. You just focus on being near cover when you actually need it. And then that's it. Very simple, like I said. And we'll move on to the next one. So the next fundamental is distance management. I should have put distance management like on here, but like just think distance management. So in this clip, I want you to focus on three things. So focus on me, which is the Ana. Focus on this ball, Kingo Salmon, and then the Reaper. Focus on on my positioning compared to how close they get to me. So you can see, I'll rewind the ball. The ball gets close. I see him get close. I'm immediately moving away from him. I know the bulk of the team is over here, so I'm moving away. Then I see the Reapers over there, so I move a little left because I don't want to be too close to the Reaper. I do try and shoot him, but we fail. And then I realize we're 2 down, and distance is pretty factored in by how many people are alive on your team compared to how many people are alive on their team. Because we're down 2, I want to move back because they're going to move forward, right? Which is rotations. So then I move back here because I know Reaper's going to walk on me. But I'm still trying to keep my distance from this area because this is where the Doom of the Ball are. So I don't want to be over here. But I still want to be able to shoot people. This is where it gets a little complex. But I'll explain later why it's not that complex. And then I didn't realize the Reaper was TPing on me. But because I've kept my distance, by the way, I haven't had to use any cooldowns until just now. So now the Reaper can't fight me because I've got my cooldowns up. Imagine if I was playing too close to the ball. I let him push me. You know, I use my cooldowns, force him out. But now I've got my cooldowns, and then the Reaper can kill me. So I was able to live this situation because I kept my distance, and the ball couldn't really go on me. Sounds complex, but I promise it's not. It's just one scenario. So, distance management means closing and creating distance to get away from danger or move more forwards towards the damage. This is supposed to say towards, but it's fine. In simple terms, generally, move forward when they go backwards, go back when they go forward. So, I go back when I saw them moving forward. And then I basically move back the whole time. So I move back when they go forward, they're moving forward, and I'm moving back. Pass into the iris. There's no example of me moving forward when they go back, but just imagine that you're this Ana. I can see the enemy team moving back, so I'm going to move forward. In simple terms, like that's what that means. What I like to do to improve on it is I like to go into replays from a bird's eye view and see where I should have backed up or when I lagged behind a bit instead of moving forward, because that's where I missed out on damage and that's value that I missed out on. I didn't put it here, but to actually use this in game, just focus on like a few heroes that they have. It's most obvious against like dive, so you know, Reaper, Genji, whatever, right? Focus on kind of continuously creating the distance from Genji, from, you know, whoever, because what you'll realize is that eventually they'll get so like frustrated with you playing just far enough away that they can't reach you, that they start committing cooldowns onto you, and then that's how you know you've done a good job, because you're playing far enough away to where they can't walk on you, but now they have to use cooldowns to commit on you, and that's putting your team at an advantage. And then the second half, move forward to do damage. Just try and see when the enemy team pushes back, and then you want to capitalize on that. You move forward a bit, and then you can do more damage because they have to move back. They're probably using cooldowns, and then you can just kill them for free. And also, sometimes you're not always going to be able to run from some enemies. In this case, you have to take the fight. Let me explain. So against full dive, you will not be able to always avoid taking a fight with someone, right? Eventually you will have to fight someone. But what you want to do in the best case is you want to take the 1v1s, the 2v1s, the 3v1s. You don't want to try and fight multiple people because that's too hard. But you can fight one person, and even better, if you can have someone help you with this one person, it's going to be a much more favorable matchup than fighting multiple people. And the reason why I'm putting this here is because you can see how you can see how the Ball and the Doom are on this left side, the Reaper's on the right side, so I can't go either side. So I kind of just stay in the middle and move back. But then eventually the Reaper forces a fight with me. I don't try and run away. I have to take it. You have to take these fights.
Pass into the
but because it's a 1v1, because I've got my cooldowns, like I explained just a few minutes ago, I'm able to actually take this 1v1, and then the Zen actually comes out and helps me, and then boom, we're in a favorable matchup, and I think we won this fight. And then boom, that's it. So next we have cooldowns. Now, admittedly, this is the most hero-specific fundamental because every hero has different cooldowns. But what it means is just using your cooldowns effectively on the hero you're playing to get the most amount of value possible. Most cooldowns benefit from being used as often as possible while still not wasting them. Let's take Ana, for example. Ana, you want to use her sleep and her nade as often as possible without rushing them or whiffing them. Same thing with ults. Generally, you want to use ults kind of as soon as possible, as soon as you see an opportunity to get an advantage. But I'm not going to explain that too much in this video. If you want like a cooldowns guide for a certain hero or a certain group of heroes, let me know in the comments. But to improve on cooldown usage, really simple. Just look up like hero guides online, watch good players, kind of see what they do, try and copy them a bit. Or, you know, you can watch me as I continue to upload more videos about Overwatch. Generally, you just want to watch good players, try and copy them, try and understand why they've used this cooldown in this way, and then just do that. But to improve on it yourself, you're going to go into a game only focused on using your cooldowns. So imagine you're playing Ana. You don't care about anything else. You don't care about healing, uptime, whatever. You just want to use your cooldowns as good as possible. Then after that game, you want to VOD review the usage, see where you wasted, rushed, or missed a CD, and just iterate on that. And then you'll get really good at using cooldowns. Next, we have target priority. What is target priority? Well, it's pretty damn simple. Shit, hold on. I have accidentally touched this, my bad. It's really annoying. Kava doesn't do regular. Sorry. Sorry, had a little mishap there. So, target priority is shooting the people who are kind of most killable or putting the most pressure on your team. In this case, I'm gonna let the video play and you figure out which one that is. Okay, so there, I shot the Cass, who was more killable than the Ram. I don't think he was necessarily putting pressure on my team, but because the Cass is way more killable than this Ram who's using them form, I'm just going to keep shooting Cass. Because, guys, please think about it. Who in this situation is more killable? The Cass, who is about 75 HP, or the Ram with 800 health, 400 armor, a damage reduction that lasts an infinite amount of time in his form. You know, everyone is going to say the Cass. So I shot the Cass because he was more killable. Let me explain. The reason you want to have good target priority is because that's how you'll actually get kills, and that's how you're going to win fights. Because it's great and all shooting people and having good uptime, but if you don't shoot the right people at the right times, then what's the point? You're just going to be doing damage that doesn't really mean anything. You'll be feeding out charge, blah 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 blah, whatever. So you want to focus on shooting on whoever is killable. Some triggers for this are people who are isolated from the rest of their team, people who have no cooldowns, people who are low HP. This does mean, you know, if a tank has these triggers and they're killable, you shoot the tank because they're killable. But usually it's not going to be the case. Another priority that I've not heard too many people speak about is shooting the enemies who are actively pressuring your team. So let's say we're playing King's Row and we are defending second point and they've kind of just gotten through the choke, but like we're holding that corner that has like on the shop where there's the Mega and the Mini really close. Let's say like you're playing Ashe and it's Ryan v Ryan mirror. You can shoot that Ryan if he's walking on your run to take the pressure off your run if you can't see anyone else. So like, assuming you can't see anyone else and no one else is really shootable, you could just shoot their tank because he's swinging on your run. He's pressuring your teammates, so you want to stop that. And then by the way, this is like this is how you apply this in game. You focus on this priority, whoever is actually killable, and then if no one's really killable, you're just shooting to shoot. Shoot the people who are pressuring your team. The way you improve on target priority, it's pretty simple. Go into VODs, find times where there was multiple people on your screen, see if you shot the correct person, like in your mind. See if you shot the person who was more killable or who was pressuring your team. If you didn't shoot the right person in your mind, then just go, oh okay, I should have shot the Sojourn because she had no slide instead of shooting the Orisa. Okay, cool. Because then you've learned something, and then the next time you go in, you're gonna be like, oh wait, I can shoot the Sojourn here and not the Orisa. And then you shoot the Sojourn, and then you win the fight, and then you're like, wow, I just made improvement. Let's fucking go. That's it right there. Boom. Easy. So those are all the fundamentals. Target priority, cooldowns, distance management, cover, rotations, off angles, and uptime. Those are the 7 fundamentals that I promise to you, if you focus on leveling those up, you will rank up so quickly. It's unreal. Because most people actually are kind of like not very smart when it comes to Overwatch. So they don't really know what's going on. Like they just play their favorite hero, they're playing their favorite game, but they don't really know why someone ranks up and why other people like them don't. They don't really know, which is fine, you know. But you're the type of person who is watching an unedited video and wants to rank up. Knowing these fundamentals is going to be that boost you need. So lastly, we're going to move on to practice and feedback. Practice and feedback, it's pretty simple. Like I said earlier, we're going to choose 1 or 2 fundamentals to work on. The reason why we're choosing just 1 or 2 is because, again, you don't want to information overload yourself. You don't want to melt your brain trying to focus on 8 things at once. So, you know, you can choose to focus on cover, or you can choose to focus on, you know, oh, I want to focus on my uptime and my off angles because I feel like I'm not doing a lot of those. During this time where you're focusing on these fundamentals, winning and losing is completely irrelevant to you. You know, wins and losses don't even matter to you. Oh, boom. They happen, they pass. That's okay. Then, through VODing yourself, getting coaching from others, or, you know, checking out my community in the link in the description, you'll get feedback on how you can improve on that fundamentals, see what mistakes you made, and then act on it. Literally do that on repeat, like this process. Choose something to improve on. Play the game, only focused on that one thing. Get feedback from it in any way. And then act on that. And you just do that over and over and over again. I guarantee in like 1 to 2 months, you will improve rapidly. And like the great thing about this is that you don't have to be stuck on one thing. If you want to focus on increasing your uptime for a few days and getting good at that, then you can do that. But then, your brain's like, oh, well, I want to do something else. So you do something else for a bit. You focus on cover usage for a few weeks because you feel like you're dying too much to like Widows and Ashes and Hunters. And it's like, that's cool. You can do that. You don't have to stick with one thing rigidly, like, for so long. Because I know how, like, but look, if you think about one tricks, they really like their hero. But most people aren't one tricks. Most people want to do different things, and they get bored really quickly, being stuck on the same thing. That's why I'm saying this. So, those are the 4 parts to ranking up. I've covered everything I promised you, and the promise was I'll teach you how to rank up without the overcomplications, and to do it even faster than I did, because it took me a year to get from plat 2 to, top 500. You can do that way faster, I promise. But here is the bonus stuff that I promised at the start. Let's go. So, the first one, you can grind the game, like improve at the game, like focusing super hard. You can still have fun playing Overwatch at the same time. You just kind of have to purposefully and with intention separate the two. Because you can't really do both at the same time. You can't grind, focus on something, and purposefully have fun at the same time. I'm gonna let you in on a secret. Doing this is usually means that this is happening, because just by improving, because of the type of person I am, just improving and seeing the progress I'm making, that is the fun. But I also understand that sometimes people want to play the games for fun, because that's kind of the whole point. So you could do that, but just try and separate these two seasons. Number 2, have a good life outside of Overwatch. Remind yourself that for most people, 99% of players, Overwatch is just a hobby that they're really passionate about and that they want to get good at, which completely makes sense. Like this whole channel is about helping people improve at Overwatch, because me personally, I like being good at the things I do. So I want to help other people be good at the things they do, because it makes me feel good, because I like being good at things. So I want to help other people be good at the things that they like doing. In other words, don't be a bum. Imagine the guy who is super cool. He's got a super hot girlfriend. He's fucking jacked. He's got, good money. Like, he's just cool and shit. But he's also good at video games. Like, imagine just, like, that's just bonus of being good at Overwatch on top of the life that he's already got. It's just sick. You don't want to have it the other way around, where it's just, well, I'm good at Overwatch, but I'm kind of skinny fat, and I'm at like 70% body fat, and I don't really have any girls into me or guys into me, and I don't really have a great physique. I don't make a lot of money, because then like that's just sad, right? So be the person who's cool as fuck and is also good at Overwatch. Don't be a bum. Next, sleep. Obviously, this isn't a self-improvement. Sorry, this isn't a self-improvement channel, but get good sleep, sleep consistently, and wake up consistently at the same time. For me, I go to sleep at 10 p.m., wake up roughly around 7. That gives me really good sleep, and it's really healthy for you to have a consistent schedule. Diet. Look, I'm not gonna tell you should be a vegan or go on a carnivore diet. Just have a diet that isn't gonna like make you sick and feel like shit. Like get a diet that makes you feel good, that you can do consistently every day, and that's it. This one is really important. Work out. I want every Overwatch player who is able to work out at least like 2 to 3 times a week. At least. I promise you, working out is one of the greatest things that I've ever done in my entire life. And there's just so much reward, I'm not even gonna get into it. If you want to learn how to work out, There's tons of videos and shit out there. Go look that up and socialize. Like I said in the last slide, you don't want to be a bum. You want to have a good social life as well. You want to talk to people, flirt with people if you want. Just be social. Be like the happy, fun person to be around. And then people will just naturally want to like talk to you and shit, and then it's gonna be fun. And then who knows? You might find someone in real life who plays Overwatch, and then suddenly the topic goes to Overwatch. It's like, oh yeah, I play Overwatch too. And then boom, you've just found someone that you can play Overwatch with, and that's sick. And then next, how to make friends. It should say in Overwatch, because this is about making friends specifically in Overwatch. So first of all, you're gonna play the game. Whether or not you're having fun or you're grinding, whatever. You're just gonna play the game. And then any good players you find on your team or on the enemy team, you're gonna send them a friend request. And then assuming they accept the friend request, not everyone will, but let's just assume they do. Then later on, maybe a day or two later, you're gonna message them that duo ? Wanna play? And then again, assuming they say yes, you're gonna play a couple of sessions. You're gonna like get a bit adjusted to each other, humor, the heroes you play, the roles, like how you play. And then after the first few sessions, like you'll get pretty close, and maybe you'll start talking in Discord. Maybe you add each other on WhatsApp or Instagram or TikTok, whatever, right? And then boom, that's it. Boom, friend made, duo acquired. Boom, you've successfully you are now no longer a solo queue player. You can play with this guy, this girl, whenever, because you're now friends. Well done, good stuff. So that is the end of the fuck. I'm not cutting that out. That's cool. So that's the end of the video. I've taught you the 4 parts to ranking up, and I've shown you some bonuses. So now I'm plugging my shit. If you are a solo queue player and you want to join a community that I want to be for players like you, so that you can finally improve, play, discuss, and rank up with people just like you, and like I mentioned in this slide, make friends that you can actively play with, and maybe even meet in real life and just become real friends, then check out Overwatch Academy. Top link in the description. And it's also going to have a course that is basically this course, but way more in depth. I'm gonna be making hero guides over the next while as well. So that's going to be good. Anyways, I hope you found a lot of value from this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.